Guys, I decided for today's video, first up I want to tell you about a decision that I made literally today, but it may not follow through. But also I want to teach you how to get your one-handed cartwheel because I recently moved on from cartwheels to one-handed cartwheels, and I'm excited, one-handed cartwheels. But what happened was I moved on to them and then basically got my one-handed cartwheel, like, right away. So for this, I warn her in advance, you do have to have your cartwheel before you can move on. If you don't have your cartwheel, I did make a video teaching you ways to get your cartwheel. This is Now, I want to let you in on the decision first, which is that I am going to start doing acro, meaning, so I do an acro class on every Monday, that's 45 minutes. Well, this week, there's another acro class on Friday, beginner acro on Zoom Worldwide. All of this is on Zoom Worldwide. And I never did it, basically. I did it twice, and that was it, because I was so tired of just trying to kick up in handstand, because Abby didn't really know me too much as a acrobatics on what I can do in acro and tumbling. And there's also one on Saturdays and Sundays. Now, Saturdays and Sundays are acrobatics, legs, and feet. Now, the thing with this is I'm not looking forward to the legs and feet part. But the thing is I can't do Sunday this week. Next week I will start Sundays. And the reasoning is because this week I am going to squad tour on Sunday. So literally I'm going to be gone most of the day and I'm going to miss it. Now, the thing is, I can actually record it and do it later, but I don't think I'm not doing that because I can screen record it. Plus, usually they tell us, you have to, they have to accept it or something, or you have to get permission to screen record. Or Zoom in that way. But anyways, I decided to do every acro class, which means I'll be doing every Zoom class. Almost every Zoom class, considering I don't do Taylor. And the reasoning is Taylor is on Wednesday nights after Gianna Martello, but the thing is by the time I get to him, first up, I'm tired. Second off, some of what he does is an acrobatic class. I only ever do Abby's acro class because Abby knows me better on what I can do and what I can't do with acro. Because sometimes I tried doing other people like Miranda's acro class at one point, and it was never working in the way that I wanted because Abby knows me very well. Abby likes me as a dancer, which is something that means so much to me. And as much as it is fun, it comes with a lot of work and a lot of, just a lot of work and just a lot of, pressure of knowing that, if I don't do good, I feel like I let myself down, and I sometimes feel like I let Abby down, even though I know that's something that I don't need to worry about because Abby likes me as a dancer, and she basically straight up told me that I can't really let her down as long as I'm putting in the work and trying my best and stuff. But to get your one-handed cartwheel, there is only 4 things. Now, the reason that I never did, these other acro classes, which they recently added the New Zealand class, which is legs and feet and acrobatics on Saturday, which for me is at like 7 o'clock at night. But I am looking forward to that because it means I don't have to go to bed at 8. I don't think which. And Sundays, which is a little bit earlier in the morning. I think Sundays are around noon or something. I don't know. But I'll have to check. But this Sunday, I will be at squad tour all day. Because the timing of the class is the timing that I think the show starts. Well, I'll be gone all day. But next week I'll do it. But I don't do Taylor because, like, the thing is, Abby knows, like, okay, like, with some teachers, or it's always, like, here's what I like to say, that every teacher teaches differently. Every teacher is slightly different. And a lot of the times with dancing, they all are amazing and stuff. And all of them work really well for you sometimes, or at least for me. But with acro and tumbling, that's something that I feel like, for me, not every teacher works in the way that I want it to. Like, and that makes sense. And nothing up against the teacher. It's just that, like, with Abby knows what I can do. Abby knows that I can't do a handstand yet. Or, so, like, Abby assigns certain things for me. And for me to work on for my journey. And so Abby, like, I make me do, like, I back bend and locked-handed back bend, which when your hands are like this. And she doesn't make me fall into them usually. Sometimes she just has me push up back bend. And then Abby, like, gives me, like, I elbow stand where your arms are like this. And she gives me a handstand to work on. And occasionally locked-handed cartwheels, but usually lately it's been one-handed cartwheels. And she gives me headstands and kip-ups. And, like, that's kind of, like, the stuff that I work on. Versus with other teachers, they don't know that. Like, and the thing is, for me, I do better kicking up one leg at a time to a handstand, and it makes me feel like I got farther with it. And some teachers say that it's easier to kick up both feet at a time. So it's like different teachers just kind of work for me and stuff, and that's it. And really the only acrobatic teacher that I found that I truly love their acro class that works for me, like, which is Abby's. Because Abby kind of lets me pick. Like, she's not like, you have to kick up both feet at a time in a handstand. She's like, just whatever works. Both feet or one at a time. However, it works for me. And that's great. And it's never been anything against those teachers. It's just, I know what works for me, and that's what I go with. And stuff. But with Monday, I fell in love with acro, like, to a new level of love. Like, usually I kind of, like, want acro to end pretty fast because it's tiring. Like, it's very tiring. I get hot and sweaty, and I just kind of feel gross because I'm hot and sweaty. And for me, it's usually, like, something that's, like, challenging. And before, it was something that, like, I never really felt like I was getting anywhere, even though I was. Like, it always felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again and not really improving, and sometimes it felt like I was getting worse instead of better and stuff, and that was becoming a thing. But when Abby told me to move on to one-handed cartwheels, that gave me a spark. It gave me something that made me happy again and made me want to do more acro. And so, Abby, if you're watching this, Abby Lee Miller, you are amazing, and thank you for that, because there's times in my life where dancing becomes a hard thing for me. And what I mean by that is there's never been a time where I hated dancing or want to quit. It's just, there is times that gets hard because I'm the type of person where I'm naturally made to be a dancer, if that makes sense. I naturally have the technique. I naturally really am really good at jumps and turns. And and I naturally have some of the stuff to be a dancer. I don't ever put my shoulders up. I know how to do things correctly and feel really good about them without it being too much, if that makes sense. There's some dancers out there that whenever they feel good about something, sometimes there will be a mistake with it, like their shoulders will be up or something, and sometimes that's the sort of thing that you can work on, and it will get better, and it will get fixed eventually, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a great thing, but it's one of those things that it's a good thing because it kind of teaches you that every dancer is different. So there's some dancers that are going to be really good at acrobatics and some that are going to be really bad at acro or acrobatics. And there's some dancers that naturally have the technique and some that don't. Every dancer is different. And for me, I've been really lucky because I am made to kind of have some of the things that a dancer needs. So that just naturally happens. So for me, but it does get hard because since I'm good at so much in dance, not trying to be super graphic, there is some stuff that I'm not good at. And so it often seems like the things I'm not good at never improve. Acro and balance on relevant, and 1 foot on relevant. And I found that my balance just on 1 foot, not on relevant, it can always use a little more work because it's not the greatest and stuff. So for Abby to say something like that, there are here and there things, not all of them are coming to my mind. Where literally up to this point, the last thing that I know changed in my dancing and changed for a good one was my face. With that, I never could make facial. My face was always blank and kind of boring when I was dancing. And that was the last thing that I remember changing next to cartwheels. And actually improved and I could move on and work on other things. So yeah, but I'm going to give you some tips for your one-handed cartwheel. First up, you have to go in understanding that you may get it right away and you may not. And that's okay. Sometimes it takes time. And also you gotta understand that you might fall a bunch. So safety first. And I say this when you are learning any form of trick, is safety first. Meaning, make sure that you have a mat or just something down, something that if you fall, you're not gonna hurt yourself. And with the one-handed cartwheel, you do have to have a cartwheel first. So go watch my video on how to get a cartwheel. Well, if you don't have your cartwheel. If you have one, then okay. So the thing is, there's only 4 tips. And because I was kind of taught the only way that you can really learn a one-handed cartwheel that I know of. And there's not many tips. on it, and that's the thing that's hard about a one-handed. Well, it's one of the hard things about a one-handed cartwheel. Actually, I'm back and forth. What I'm kind of doing is I may not do acro. Like, here's the thing, I'm back and forth on if I'm gonna do acro or not. It kind of is, like, I think I might not, you never know. But I love my Monday acro. Then, and so the first tip is once you have your cartwheel, the first tip that I would say, again, is make sure you're warmed up, ready to go, because a warm-up is very important, because if you don't warm up, you could pull a muscle or something. So make sure you are warmed up. That's like the first tip. Then, the second tip. The second tip is to work on just having, this one is one that you only get to do really fastly, which means make sure that you can keep your arm from touching the ground. Now here's what I recommend is I recommend doing your good side first, your good side cartwheel, or whatever side you prefer. Because your arm, you can't cheat it. With the one-handed cartwheel, there's no cheating. That, if you decide to do your left side, then and your right arm never touches the ground. Because I know there's people out there that like to cheat it, and by people I mean Bella. Bella cheats it every time, and I'm like, at first I thought that was kind of the thing. I thought like, oh, a one-handed cartwheel, you put your other hand down, but then you like pull it back up so it doesn't seem like you did. But I found out that was wrong. So then the third tip is to figure out whatever is your good side cartwheel, because that's the side that you're probably going to be better at. And actually, I'm going to give you a few more tips. So the next tip is to generally just try to do one. Attempt to do a one-handed cartwheel. You're probably going to fall out of it, but try to do it and keep kind of doing that. And that now, the next tip. This one is one that's scary, but it's important. And get a paper cup, like a paper or a foam cup, and get a bottle of water. And then the final tip is put a little bit, fill the paper cup like a quarter of the way or something, and then attempt to hold it in whatever side you're not doing. So like, I'm better at my left side, so I hold it in my right hand, and attempt to do one-handed cartwheels holding it. What this does, and if it's spilled, it's just water, so it's not like a big deal, easy cleanup. But the thing is what this does, and I figured this out, is that it actually trains you. Because what happens is, for me, whenever I am attempting a one-handed cartwheel, my right hand wants to come down. See, no, you can't. But my right hand always wants to come down. And then I failed because it's cheating. But with a cup in your hand, you can't. Wait, I'm going to attempt to do it. Okay, that was just bad. And they're probably all gonna be bad. And I'm gonna try to cartwheel split through. I've never done this before and it's gonna be bad. It wasn't too bad for my first try. What I mean by cartwheel split through is you do a cartwheel and then you split through at the end. So you land your cartwheel and then you split. You like drop right down into your split. So yeah, I'm excited to be doing so much more dancing and acro, but the thing is I'm gonna have to do it back here because my parents did agree that I can do like Sunday out there, but the thing is I am gonna have to do it back here because I feel safer back here with the mat on top of the carpet. And it's good. Even though I feel like I'm gonna be really tired and not want to most of the time, it's good and it's only gonna make me better. And I'm just gonna get there literally so much faster. So that's exciting. And so hopefully with this you got your one-handed cartwheel. It does take time, but like literally what it does is that you can't cheat it with a cup of water. And it seems scary, but it generally, only for me, it's better. I found that I'm always better in class, if that makes sense. Like, for some reason, when I'm on Zoom, I feel like I do better than when I'm just showing you guys. And I feel like part of it is because my brain knows, like, someone professional is watching me, and that I just want to give them my best. I'm going to try one trick that I've never done before. Let me try not facing. That was actually decent. What I did was I cartwheeled and then did like this. Peace out. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm excited to be doing so many more dance classes. I didn't. The reason I didn't do them at first was because with Friday's acro, it was kind of always the thing on that, like, I didn't want to do Like, it felt like I wasn't getting better and I wasn't improving. And acro's not an area that I'm strong in or tumbling, so for me, I kind of just didn't want to do it. And I also didn't want to do it so much to where I hated it. So now I'm like, I'm just gonna try. Peace out.